Good morning. Good morning. Namaskar. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India. On this day, June 29th, 2021, Tuesday, talk on quality, talk and designs, construction, methods, contracts, organizations, communication, coordination, quality in essence and quality in execution. Why all time be behind quality? Important point, that is signals are very weak, in fact zero, but I am going to speak. It's right, one should move forward with a hope that technology would work, and that's what I think should be my approach towards right, approach towards whatever it should be. We all depend on certificates, we all depends on certain competency, consistency, and everybody can be trusted based on certain competency. Can be trusted, I'm not saying is claimed. It may be competency, say run of quantity, run of quality. All they play very important role in our life, in our world. You have to understand very well these points: quality issues in life and quality requirement. I suppose nothing moves, or it moves only on tracks without any direction, without any strength, without any reliability. When I say reliability, when I say when I claim reliability, that means dependability, dependability involving safety, dependability involving service, and dependability involving, you can say, durability, and all other factors we have to consider in our profession as well as in life. Simply speaking, quality plus SHE, that is safety, health, and environment, added with ergonomics, which is science of how to use your energy to best of your advantage and best of your requirement. These two, you may say three, whatever. Quality is soul of requirement. You can say it's solo actually, solo, just we call it is solo, though it doesn't move solo without quantity, but we can say that it is a kind of solo property. And if you have, you feel better than others, even in yourself, in myself, in someone else, individual. If I have solo thinking of honesty, thinking of commitment, thinking of obligation, thinking of responsibility, I think we can advance a lot. I also agree that all are not dishonest, but most people now are dishonest. I also agree all are not liars, but most people, majority of people throughout the world are liars. I agree that all are not incompetent, but those who should be competent, they also have certain kind of adjustment often somewhere. It may be whatever adjustments, whatever level of adjustments, but it is made. And all such honesty or dishonesty, adjustment or no adjustment, certain kind of permutation and combination of this in required curve, if you say, there is some deviation from required path, and that deviation you can say marks standards in quality, and sometimes that lack of standards in quality leads to accidents, which SHE says it should not happen. Quality, loss of quality somewhere can lead to accidents and fatality, and we may say this is a technical error, there was something, and that answer of technical error, a kind of excuse you can say it becomes. A shield it can become. It should not be. If you work through engineering and through correct active formula, there can be no chance that quality may not be achieved, but sometimes nowadays quality means show. This means advertisement. This means publicity. Your product may not be competent or consistent, but publicity is as such that customers are attracted. Actually, that's a kind of, you can say, public cheating. I should simply say, your product doesn't make itself to that mark which you claim, but once people are attracted, they buy that product. And they also know that nobody is going back for asking about quality, who has got time, and people actually absorb it rightly or wrongly, and that businessman, business person takes advantage of people's weakness, because people say who has time, who has efforts. This kind of normal conduct of people leads itself to more and more bad quality product. Quality is not difficult, to be very frank, because quality is natural born. We define itself what we expect of it. If there is some length which should be straight, there is some line which should be straight. And if I can't make it straight, I don't have time, I'll just take it and move as it is. Means it is better to make it straight rather than leaving it. Or some, you can say, quality should be achieved. It was achieved some time before. What happens now, I don't know. Particularly in products. It may be manufactured product or it may be construction product. Quality has been gradually losing its ground. It is because of culture, I can say, individual working culture. If you don't have any culture and you are not inclined towards certain long-term job, you are not inclined to just interested in money making. If money making is only criteria, I think quality is given second level in that case. I want to make money by whatever way, by hook or by crook, and by trial or error. I have to make money. If that is my intention, then quality does not have any place there. Quality does not have any place. At cost of loss of quality, I can move, and people move like that. In beginning, they give you good product. They may give you discount. I don't understand for what. How can you give discount when you are giving quality? There can be no relation as such. If you spend money on material, in production, you can't give discount. But they say, okay, one free with one bought. This means there is something wrong. Okay, sometimes you do it for publicity, for promotion, but how long? What I mean to say is, I'm not concerned with every product. I'm concerned with product of construction, product where whole life savings are gone. It may be your house, your apartment, your building, or whatever else, which consume all your savings from whole life. Generally, for middle class people, it applies. I'm not talking of those who are very rich or very high profile people. I'm not talking about them, because for them, everything is money. They don't think beyond money. They live in money, they eat money, they drink money, they walk money, they talk money, they sleep money. Money is their world. But they forget money cannot save their lives as well. Nobody can be saved by affluence of money, by abundance of money. There is no evidence that money saved someone. Everybody has to go one day. That is fact of life. Only missing point is we do not know which day and which time we have to go. Even if we know which day I have to go, I think that's best prediction. But I don't, so we can only assess. But I am not concerned with death or life here. I am concerned with quality and safety. When I say safety, this is linked to quality. If I am not having any quality, I don't care for myself, I don't care for my personality or generality or my destination or my totality. I can make mistakes. I can't be healthy. Maybe mentally I am not healthy. Physically maybe I am healthy, or physically I am not healthy. And physically I am not healthy, mentally I can't be healthy. And both are related, because after all, physically and mentally is combination. That's a must for your body. And body means physical body and soul in this body, which is nothing but mind. If my mind doesn't work, I can't survive. If there is some pain in my body, I can't survive. It may be severe pain or it may be light pain. I have to stop somewhere to contain that pain, to take some medicine or do something. There I can do with medicine, and I can say, okay, I am safe now, I am healthy now, or I have recovered now. But I forget that that is only temporary. Health should be strong. It should be safe for you, for me, everybody, because health is also a product, natural product. Nobody can give you. You can't buy health in exchange of money. Only joke you can say, I changed my body. Once you can say, you joke like that, but you have no authority on your body except that if your body functions, every part of your body functions in its true mode, you can feel healthy. You can have good safety. When mind is strong, quality can be achieved if you have a wish, if you have a lust. I should say these are emotional though, wish or lust, because wish or lust do not mean anything. Because commitment, obligation, determination, all those are required for quality achievement. Quality achievement I am saying because no quality exists in life, even for smaller products, cheaper products you can say, where you spend only few bucks, few dollars or few rupees. If you want to get quality, you have to. But I'm talking of that product which costs your life. It may collapse sometimes in life, but you are not interested to know about that because you are not serious. Community not being serious is a big issue. It's a considerable issue to deliberate. If my society, I am part of that society, if my society is not serious, I can't help it. I can tell only, I can advise only, or I can be serious myself. I have no controls beyond my being seriousness. Even I can't force my family members to be serious, because everybody has liberty of thought, liberty of work, liberty of advancement. Of course, people want their way to live. I can only advise, and you also, if I force someone, no, you do like that, nobody will listen to you. So better leave them, tell them what's right, what's wrong. More than that, I can't say. That's my quality part. I can say, I have done my quality part. I have told you what's right, what's wrong. It's up to you now to decide. You want to have a quality life with safety, you want to have a quality life with good health, or you want to have a quality life with environment. Some people drink too much, they don't care about health, and of course, if health is not cared about, quality doesn't matter there. They don't need quality, they just want to drink. That's it. Well, they lose power of ergonomics, they lose power of environment, they lose everything, and of course invite various kinds of diseases. I am a part of physical construction, I am a part of engineering, I am a part of design, I am a part of all these which can change society. I am a part of dirt, I am a part of sand, I am a part of aggregate, I am a part of lime and silica, I am a part of water, I am a part of all those agencies which combine together work. We join together and work in civil engineering. Civil engineering means natural engineering, I should say. There is no civil engineering but natural engineering. Natural engineering means there is nothing in our civil engineering which doesn't come from nature. Of course, there is imaginary world in civil engineering which is in designs and also in theory. You have to use those subjects, theory of structures, or you can say analysis is done there, and then we have to do designs. Means we have to imagine some structure. Then we imagine how forces act on that structure, forces or actions, what actions do apply there. We have to know that. So we know basics of that. Even then, imagination is imagination. We imagine how this should work, like poetry, like somebody writes some story. It's our, you can say, calculation based story of that structure. We imagine that structure based on whatever drawings, that's different, but we imagine that structure in our minds and see this is going to work. Software helps us, of course. Software is also an imagination. Nobody knows how that structure in fact would behave, but we consider certain principles, certain theorems, certain formulas to work out, to understand, to have an idea how this structure and each member of structures would behave when certain forces apply on them. Certain forces means forces of its own loads, its own weight, forces which are temporarily or permanently. For example, weight of building, or you can say dead load which can't be changed, that is permanent one. That load and load that shall be put on it or imposed on it from time to time, from hour to hour, from day to day, we call it live load. How shall it behave? And in some cases then we go on further and say thermal load, seismic load, wind load, fire impact, this impact, that impact, snow, this environment effect, this effect. Means there are so many, so forth. If you go on and on, you'll find more and more complications. But imaginary world is that whatever we think should remain constant and should lead to safe working, safe design, and safe production of that frame, of that space frame, or you can say of that three-dimensional imaginary building which we produce on piece of paper and say this is what is to be done. It's really very important to understand. That's also a part of quality while designing how you imagine something, keeping abreast all these forces, duration or you can say durability of that structure, which may run for 50 years to 100 years or to 150 years. How do we consider that? What type of materials we are going to use on that? It's very important. It's not simply idea. We have to support that idea. We have to support those materials we are going to include into that structure permanently. How should it behave in 10 years, then in 20 years, in 30 years, and after having hysteresis of materials, you can say, use of material loss on, you can say, how many turnings would come into yield stresses of those material and plastic stress of those material in long term. So after 50 years, how shall it behave? We must have an idea based on exhibitions and based on demonstrations of those materials in other projects. We can have references with as far as research is concerned, innovation is concerned. Means we must have practical idea, and that's also called quality consideration of design. It's not simply formula we apply and forces we find and put in. We have to understand long-term effect on that. It may be through limit state or through ultimate state of serviceability, limit state of serviceability, or limit state of collapse or whatever you call it. In technical language, it happens. So quality is that way also works. You can't say quality only in production, but quality also in imagination. Imagination is much more important than final derivation of formula and product. We can have many imaginations. We can have many modes of transmissions of loads from one point to other point. It may be practically like that. There is no fixed design for any structure. These designs are optional. There are many designs for same structure. If you give one work to 5 engineers, you will find 5 different types of design. If they don't talk together, if they don't sit together, you will find 5 answers to 5 problems, one problem. And that's just like doctors. You go to one doctor, you go to 2 doctors, you go to 3 doctors, you'll find 3 prescriptions. Same way, it applies in engineering because we depend on unlimited imagination. We depend on unlimited theories. We depend on, of course, there are set formulas, but formulas do not play directly, they play indirectly. First formula comes to our mind, and that is called artisan's work, or it may be called imaginary work. That structure that is evaluated in my mind, that is evolved in my mind, is much more important than something else because it originates, it's born there, idea is born in mind. And that born idea is a kid one, is taken out and developed. That's called quality of design. We have to understand that point. That gives real quality, and that is not easy. It must require concentration, and that's called concentration you have. So that's concentration of quality, a quality concentration. And of course, at that time you have to think about safety of people, those who occupy that, whatever structure it may be, safety of passers-by on bridges, on roads, safety of occupants of buildings, on whosoever is there. Safety is very important there as well as that is different kind of safety. It's public safety, you can say. It's not individual alone, it's public safety. There is no meaning if your structure collapses and you did not know about that, it will collapse. Ignorance on part of people is very dirty. They ignore sometimes, they don't become serious. And in our country, Bharat, India, this is very common that people are not serious. They generally ignore because unforeseen never happens immediately. You do not know what shall happen, and once it happens, even after that, even after loss of lives and property, people do not bother. Okay, there should be some commission of investigation, and you know what happens after that. So I should not run away from one point to other point, but my concentration should be on quality and safety, and of course how to work. And engineers are leaders on front of development, Without engineers, no development can happen professionally. That's what I'm saying. Professionally, we have very bad habit in our country and also maybe in many other countries that engineers are ignored. They are not valued, particularly on structures. Structure is considered nothing here in our country. Structure is considered only beams and columns. I think so. Or structural steel columns, or structural steel frames. We don't know more than that. Be very frank. We are engineers, whatever we are, but we are compromisers as well. We debate a lot, but don't do practically. I don't know reason behind that. To be very frank, engineers are very much qualified academically. There is no way which you can call unequal. Engineers are unequal in fact. It's not question I'm proclaiming, it's a fact. Engineering education is unequal. It's full of calculations. It's full of technical terms. It's full of something people even can't assume. But engineers assume. We assume this beam would come down. Do you believe that? We assume this column may fall, collapse or deflect. We assume that slab would not remain in position forever. It keeps on moving up and down. It's like we stand on a bridge, railway bridge, stand there and some rail passes, some train passes below. You will find that bridge vibrates for some duration and then comes to dampen effect. Another train comes again, it does same thing. It may be steel bridge or it may be some other kind of bridge. It does same, only with difference of material. It vibrates less or more. Same thing is our life. Same thing is engineer's life. We know what happens, but nobody listens. You put in design, there's a gap between designer and person who would do it. There's a gap. That gap has not been bridged so far. There's a class, oh, he's a contractor, I am an engineer, this and that. I'm not talking of this class. I'm talking of responsibility. Engineer has a responsibility, contractor has a responsibility, owner has a responsibility, public has a responsibility. Everybody has a relevant role to display, to exhibit, to prove. Where is that role? That role is in profession. Role is there, even if it's not maybe described or specifically mentioned, but it is there. We run away from that role. Why? Quality should be in blood. And it is in blood. If you just take section of blood, you will find quality exists. But you don't want to read that. Quality exists everywhere in definition. Quality exists in papers. Quality exists in minds, but it doesn't work. Safety also is very important. Nobody wants to be unsafe, but even then people drive with mobiles on and talking while driving. Where is quality then? Where is safety then? You keep your safety at stake, you keep safety of road users at stake, and you don't care. You don't even know some car is behind your car or someone wants to overtake you. You just remain busy in your talking on mobile. Where is quality? Where is worry? You don't want to be safe. You have put yourself to risk, and you are allowing others, you are asking others also to be involved with you. And it happens. It happens everywhere. Even in West it has happened. It happens in England. Many accidents like this. It happens in many countries. It happens in whole Gulf countries. They speed up 150, 200 and accidents, of course, do come in. Who is responsible for that? That's, you can say, factor of safety, or you can say health safety or environment safety or people safety. All are ignored. That is very important consideration. Their ergonomics is forgotten, environment is forgotten, health is forgotten, safety is forgotten, anxiety comes in. Oh, I am driving at a speed of 150. What's pride in that? I don't know. What's pride in that? Why you drive at 150? Drive at 500, drive at 1000, and that's it. If your car permit, I think you can drive too. If your car permits 1000 kilometers, you may drive. It's not a joke. It's an opportunity. If you have, you will try. Unfortunately, you don't know how to fly, or you'll fly your car. What I say, particularly people are not serious. I don't understand reason. Without seriousness, you cannot work. Seriousness doesn't mean face being serious or your tongue should be serious. Seriousness means your caliber should be serious. It should continuously work on same sequence to start and to end to that duration. Quality, quality is not defined perfectly by some people because they don't want to do that. A confused statement is created. But I say in civil construction, in natural construction, there can be nothing that is of perfection. Whatever you do, you have to get certain perfection. Only point is acceptance of that. You have not done something to your definition, you have done something to either substandard definition, and that is where I can say fall in quality of reference. We classify concretes strength wise. Why? Because whatever strength we specify, we produce that class of concrete, and it is okay, it's fine. If it is class 40, I can say 40 newtons per mm square, and if I produce 35 newton per millimeter square for that work, it is substandard. It is same standard specified 35 newton per meter square, not 40 newton, and I do 35, it is a standard. So as I say, its definition, what you provide. Even 15 newton concrete is also there. 15 newton, 20 newton, the range is there. In that range, in range of 50 newtons, you cannot produce concrete for 15 newtons. It should be 50. Otherwise, it's not acceptable. So that is where quality lies in. Quality, or you can say intended quality, or stated quality, or specified quality that we have on projects must be complied with. And who shall make sure this? Question is that. Who shall look after that? I don't want quality on papers only. I want quality in field of construction, field of designs. Design is also a field of engineering, where every you can say direction should be given to those people who are not in designs, who are in construction, who have to work your mind into shape. What I'm saying, your mind of designer. What designer thinks, what designer contemplates, that designer uses medium of communication, of drawings, for expression of his mind, and that design goes to person who does it in field, who produces this in field, executes that in field. That person is site person. That personal has only one focus, that I have to abide by, I have to comply with what is given on drawing, what is given in specifications, and what are real procedures to do that job. And if that person does it satisfactorily, then you can say quality of that definition is achieved. But it is very easy to say that. I can explain in one line, I did this job according to requirements. Very simple. This job has been done according to requirements. This means everything has been done, nothing has been left. It's simple to write this, and generally people satisfactorily write that. Okay, I have supervised this project and it has been done according to this and this, and sign. Even though nothing was supervised, nothing was made sure, but certification exists. What do you call it? I don't understand. Just by a certification, if you assume everything was true, I can't believe it. And that's where lapse of quality occurs. No quality, no SHE, nothing can work. in our construction we say safety first. Safety first. Safety means safety of every consideration. Individual safety, group safety, work safety, environment safety, health safety, everyone. It's not simple that I should be safe alone. Scaffolding should also be safe. My colleague should also be safe. My site should also be safe. Traffic should also be safe. Water that we use should also be safe. Everything should be safe. It's not simply I am safe as an individual. You are safe if others are safe. Your group is safe if your thoughts are safe, if you comply with requirements of safety, then you are safe. Personal safety, PPE we call personal protective equipment, that's only one part of safety. There are many other parts of safety which only in safety subjects can be elaborated. So if you don't comply with quality would not listen to us. Quality is not my servant or your servant. Quality says you have to comply with my requirement, what I say you have to comply. And if you don't comply, I can't help you. I am not living being, but I can become living being if you listen to me. I am your imagination. I am in your mind, but you don't want to come out of your mind. You don't want to tell me out of your mind. You just want to keep me in your mind. And if I stay only in mind and in your certificates, but not in virtual world, not in practical world, not in physical being, then how can you make sure and how can you guarantee that I exist? It's not philosophical talk, it is real one. Just like we say, no safety, no pain, no safety, no pain, we say that. If you have safety, if you know what is safety, you will not probably find any pain. And if you don't care for safety, certainly you will find pain. Same is quality. No quality, no future. K-N-O-W, no. No quality, good future. And no quality, painful future. If you want good future of this product, you can say you should know quality in that, so that this product would work usefully. It shall work through its whole life. It shall work better. It shall give you better service. It shall be durable. All that reliability equation comes into play of quality. Otherwise, everything is reverse. If I don't comply with quality, I do not do my duty. I do not do my job. That's what I say. It is individual attitude that works towards quality. If I don't care for quality, just like I don't care for something else, this means I do not act seriously. To get quality, you have to be serious. You have to awaken. You have to do whatever your duty demands to do. If you don't comply with quality, product is not responsible. Future of product is not responsible. It is you who are responsible. We say engineers must realize quality facts. I say, why engineers only? Everyone. Engineers, of course, they lead, but quality is for everybody. It's not, you can say, there can be no acceptance to discard quality. If you discard quality, I don't know what you achieve. I don't understand that. Some people relate loss of quality to loss of money. I meant to say gain of money. How? If you lose quality, how money can come in? You may say, oh, I made money, I don't know how you could make money. How could you make money? How could you make it? By loss of quality? Yes, I don't know. Robbery is there. You know how do you want to rob it? Loss of quality doesn't mean gain in money. There can be no gain in money if you lose quality. There can be no gain. Yes, there can be something different. If you change the specification, if suppose you have to add 6 bags of cement, I'm just the example. If you have to add 6 bags of cement of 50 kilogram each in 1 cubic meter of concrete, and if you don't mix 6 bags, you mix 4 bags and do same concrete. Yes, you can say I have saved 2 bags of cement in 1 cubic meter of concrete. You cheat yourself, you cheat that material, and you think nobody knows that. You produce that concrete by saving 2 bags of cement. Yes, 2 bags of cement saving you have made, but what did you lose? You lost that material. You lost the strength of that material. 2 bags of cement were replaced by either sand or by aggregate or by something else. I'm not talking of supplementary cementing materials here. I'm talking of supplementary dishonesty. You tried to save 2 bags and you lost quality of that material, strength of that material. That's what I say. Engineers must realize quality facts, and in particular, civil engineers have to change quality aspect of society, or else quality cannot exist. It's very important. Systems work. Nobody can change it. You can break system. You can destroy system. Everything will be destroyed. You can destroy your character, your professional character. You can be dishonest. You can be. Then you are not professional. I can't call you professional. You are not committed. How can you be professional? You have no advancement. How can you be professional? No way. No way. You have to define your product yourself as a designer, as a specifier, or as owner. I want this one. You have every right. You have every right to define that. That becomes a part of quality requirement on that project. It is individual to decide, it is team to decide, or howsoever you move design of that product, you have to contribute to that. Its structural design is not difficult. Its structural execution is difficult. You have to guarantee that you achieved what was designed. How can you do that? Designer has designed using software, using formula, using theory of structures, using experience of designs. That designer does. But beyond that, designer has no direct control. Disclaimer exists. It is only trust that designer can have, that those people, those personnel in project production, project execution, construction, they have to accept, they have to work out, they have to force design to be achieved. So there's a gap between designer and executor, prosecutor. I am talking these specific words, international characters, prosecution of construction we call it. Not simple execution or not simply carrying out that. I conducted whole exercise of construction, and that is where my importance lies. Structures are structures. These are decisive because these are based on quality calculation in quality designs, where everything is considered according to needs, according to requirements, according to scope of work. And It has limits, start and end. Designs are never wrong if done with total you can say controls on site, controls in mind. If you have experience of sites in addition to design knowledge, I think you be best designer. Alone design is not adequate. It's same thing as I say CAT, cat, child says cat, and what is cat? How cat behaves, that child doesn't know. But that child knows this is cat, photo of cat. More than that, that child doesn't know. So designer must have a backing of practical construction. That designer can be much better than solo designer. Solo designer, I think, is not a requirement. Pragmatic design is a requirement which pulls all difficulties during construction into design consideration and makes provisions in such a way that site guy knows problem is solved. Don't leave anything to site thinking, because there can be gap in thinking itself. So better design means better representation of design, better specification of requirement, better technical input. If you can add this only to drawings or to some specification page or to some, you can generally add as project requirements on drawings in addition to ordinary specifications, that these specifications supersede general specifications. I think you will do better than something else. But thought doesn't go to that side. No. Designer thinks only design is my job. I can't call that designer a complete designer, a complete design engineer. If you think only theoretical, you do, and don't think of practical problems, then there's a gap in engineering itself, I can say. Coordination gap, self-coordination, coordination with others, and during coordination, too much happens. I can say, I'm not going to repeat what's written on this file, but all these factors we have to consider very well, that that's a part of quality, design, and everything. You can't go otherwise. Quality requirements. I have been doing this for few days or few weeks. What do we want? Every day I talk quality. Maybe those who watch me this video, view video, start feeling bored. That same thing this person talks every day. They may think that way. It's not talking. It's not talking, believe me. I'm not talking anything. I'm talking something that critically deals with everyone. I'm not saying you are not having good house. You are having good house. If you think whatever house you have is good one, it's okay. It's within your bound. It's within your limits. But it doesn't contain. What should it contain? Some people say, oh, it's enough if I have got on my head roof, I have some accommodation. Okay, that's right. I'm not saying you can't stay in whatever accommodation you have. My point is different. My point is that you spend money on that. That accommodation is not free of cost. You can't say that's free of cost. You spend money on that. Whatever money you spent on that, are you sure you got back that money in terms of that structure? Is that structure in which you live worth of your money spent? That's my point. Generally in contracts we say, and particularly in West, they say, I am paying you this, you are not giving me this product. I am paying you this, but you are not giving me worth this product, worth this money. Well, that's a good point of expression. I pay you this. I want to get back this money through this product. But you are not giving me new product, they may say. You are giving me old product or used product or repaired product. This happened with me sometimes. Now a site. So, I am paying you for new product and giving me remedied product. You are giving me remedial product. Why? I'm sorry, I give you new one. Whole money I'm giving for new, but you are not giving me new. Your product is defective and you repaired it. What do you say? What do you say about that? Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm saying defective product, after being acted upon remedially, its defects are removed. Some people call it second-hand product. Means forget quality. It is second-hand. It's not fresh. It's not new. That is way of thinking. And here you will find all projects you go and see. I challenge it. You go and see projects, you will find defects and defects and defects. Not one, or you can say rare defect. Work, which you can call good, is rare. First time good work, according to management principles, according to real principles. Every time you have to work. Every time you have to work right. You say work every time, or right, work every time. Work every time, do not repeat that work, means do not leave any defect to be repaired, because repair is expensive. It takes time also, and it gives a bad feeling as well. Non-professional feeling. That feeling should also not exist. There is a list of many quality issues, though it's not comprehensive, but still something is there. Something you can say. There are many activities on every structure, or you can say every activity works somewhere. In construction, there are many activities in every sub-disciplines. Building, bridges, roads, sewer lines, water lines, or you can say irrigation, railways, whatever you say, whatever types of building you say. A list of activities exists from commencement to completion. Sometimes, if you see, there's huge volume of specifications you'll find on project documents, on project and contract documents. You'll find big books with thick volumes, and maybe in one instance, you will be horrified. A bundle of drawings, so many bundles of drawings and so many bundles of volumes of specifications and contract documents. The one gets mad immediately at this. How many documents? Yes, how many documents? This is document. You have to read them. We usually call them contract documents. Though initially these documents did not have title of contract document. These were design documents. These were specification documents. These were contract language documents. All these they were at one time. Now all these documents, from commercial issue, from technical issue, from design issue, or from whatever issue, are pulled up in one list or one referral. We call it tender document or contract document. Tender document until these are not awarded. So why we say that? That is very important from contractual viewpoint. Quality requirement is there, of course, but this can't be without contractual requirement. This point we have to understand. Contractual requirement. Contractual requirement generates quality requirement. Without contractual requirement, quality requirement does not exist. Your contract has to define what is quality in this contract. This means contract should itself be a quality document. Contract should itself be a quality document. But how? How do you know what is contract? You can know only this when you have complete documents with you. If you have those documents which has project description, which has complete scope of project, which have complete contract data, which has complete drawing sets, all types of drawings, and you have to make new drawings out of those drawings for purpose of doing a job, which may be called shop drawing or working drawing. You have to chart out program for your construction. You have to chart out other issues. All those details must be somewhere in contract documents or in project documents, you can say, if it's not so far awarded. Project has some start and has some completion date. Your work must be completed within this duration. That should not be only quantity duration, that is quantity and quality duration. Quantity has to move with quality, or you may say quality has to move with quantity. No one should be lagging behind each other. That can be called best productive way, that I am giving you best requirement, and on top of that, if you do something else in support of progress, in support of quality, that is much better. It should be. It's not quality talk alone. When I talk of quality, I talk of quantity also, because quality means quantified quality. It can't be simple. You can say quantity or quality. It's combination of both. Required quantity plus required quality equal to product. You can't simply say, I have this product, this is my production. You can't say it is without quality. If you say it is without quality, then what is product? It's nothing. You do not know what you have produced. You do not know how shall it function, because there is no element, no defined element you have put in. So you only can say this is a product, and that's all. That is where I want to hit. Civil construction varies always. It's like you use brick or you use stone. It's up to you. You use cement, you use lime. It's up to you. Just like our people used in past in villages, bricks with mud mortar, right? They used clay soil for flooring. Do you remember? Mud you call it, but after all it's clay. Mud mixed with cow, something like that, cow food. I don't know what's in English. Dung, not dung actually. It's some mix of kind of which they use for flooring maintenance or on walls also. You can't say that's old. That's a product. That's also a product. You devise that type of product because flow is a refractory material. Refractory material. It works with thermal energy. It has certain properties of thermal heat. It has certain properties of other kinds. It is pro-weather. Though it's called mud, it's called soil, but it's a powerful material. Though we can't use it, but it was used, and they got comfort with that. That in cold, it absorbs cold and gives heat, and while in hot, it gives cold. It's kind of indirect natural conditioning of weather. Natural conditioning of weather it is, and it has got certain minerals as well, montmorillonite, illite, kaolite, having various properties. Which way it works? That's what I say. Natural products are used, no artificial products are used, except finishing items. I am talking of structural items. Finishing I am not talking in this talk. It's only structure that we use as natural product. Of course, with some variation, we calculate out, we work out, and we define some different kind of grading or combined grading for our materials. That we do, and that works as well. So when we go through list of our requirements, we will find every activity from setting out to excavation to foundation work to super work and to others after that, whatever is left. And everyone defines, we can say, this is survey, this is excavation, this is preparation of blinding, this is blinding, this is protection of blinding, this is foundation work, having reinforcement and form work, and we have further activities on that. Likewise, we move on, and we are involved with the structure, and it's called structural engineering. Though it's not separate, but specialization, you may say those who work full time or who dedicate to structural designs and structural production. I call both structural engineers. One may be structural design engineer and other may be structural executive. Both have responsibilities, combined responsibilities, of course, with majority of responsibility of designs with designer, and working responsibility on site with structural site engineer. He may be a structural engineer, but he should have experience of production. Just like designer must have experience of past designs. It happens. Engineering is very much complicated. I can say civil engineering, because it can't be defined in terms of writing. It has to be understood. Yes, nowadays many coordinations are required with all services that would support what is for structure and whatever terms, and those are all supplementing disciplines, you can say, along with this natural discipline. Therefore, I think and I suggest that those designers working wherever, they should have some site experience also, at least to, if not total experience, must have interactive experience with site people who can tell them a lot, who can advise a lot, and that lot is very important here. Now here, when I say yesterday I talked of many foundations, right? I talked of some foundation. I think, let me see which one I talked was before running away. It was ethane. Okay. foundation it was. I just go back to first one, this we talked of. I forgot also, that's my problem. Column plate inserts, no, I'll just not talking of that. I'm just talking this column plate actually inserts which were there. Just go back, see. Alright, give me some time and I'll be back in a couple of minutes. I'm feeling thirsty also. Let me take some water as well. Back, hold this, take water now. So in this talk, sorry, in this talk I had given you some explanation about column inserts, column plate inserts. You can see, remember, I think you remember that column compression structures also is column plate inserts. Is that it was column of compressor foundation in which we inserted some plates. You remember that, or I should show you. I think maybe I have that one. I don't know, start the Zoom. Let me see if I can show you that one. I'll just close this file, otherwise, This is actually, this is your tabletop. This is tabletop. Okay, I'll keep it open indeed, because I am going to do like that. It's a kind of tabletop, of course, and there's another one which I like to share again. Maybe that's that one. No, it's not that one, it's another one. Okay, that's another one. So there's another sketch. Okay, fine, there's a two sketches, no issue. I'll try to find that sketch once again, and that's an important one, because I have to explain to you on this, just to remind you what I was talking. Sometimes we forget, it happens because there are so many sketches in this, and I have to show you. Maybe I think it is method statements, chapters, sketches, and that sketch is here. I hope this will be column plate inserts, if I can get it. Pipe culverts, what is the wire, column form, column inserts. I think maybe it's that one. So I got it. It's there. So I got it here, and it's another one. It's two, I say. So first I will talk about the inserts and the relation of this column. You can say inserts I'm going to discuss with you is in this column. How many columns are there doesn't matter. Columns are there in this way, or columns maybe are just like this. There are different sizes of foundations. I am talking for means just don't stick to what sketch is, but stick to what's required is. In these columns here, we say in this column, there are inserts here. You can see steel plate, insert plates here. These are, you can say that steel plates here and steel tanks here, steel plate and steel tanks. These are meant for some reasons in thick material, thick members, and maybe generally steel is used for some purpose. Here bars are all in here for its tension, compression or bending moments. But these are here because this is thick column, and you can say kind of concentrated reinforcement. Just like we say in beams and columns, we say in deep beams and deep columns, this is concentration. Or you can say skin reinforcement, you may say that. I think that's the right word. Skin reinforcement. So this can also be called the kind of, because this is only one insert with tanks at different locations in one side of column. It's given one, but it may be two. Let's say one is enough there, or two are enough there. It depends on design. So that can be, we can say that this is a kind of skin steel fabrication, fabricated steel fixed at some side, and it could be called that it's a skin plate, or you may say this is fabricated plate put in column sides for whatever reason. Of course, main reason is crack prevention. Other reason may be varied. This is there, and we call this, if you see details of this, you will find that this is plate here, 9 meters or whatever size, doesn't matter. The spacing of tanks is shown half a meter, center, and size of plate is shown in width it is 0.2 meters, so thickness may be 10 mm, or depending on design, whatever it is. Here it is on four sides. You can see these inserts, because column is not very wide, maybe 100 by 100 or 150 by 150. There could be two such plates also. It depends on requirements. So you can see this kind of another reinforcement that goes in addition to bars here. So this, you can say, this bars, which mean stresses to take at this support for skin sides and all that. That's I understand. These are inserts. I call steel plate inserts. Plate. This is plate here, and you can see these tanks. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, or more. Inserts in all columns of compressor foundation. This is what it says, and we have to understand this point. This also, another one, size of column is 1.5 meter by 0.8, and also, there are safety requirements which we discussed here, and all we have to take into consideration. But now we are talking of inserts here, and this requirement, what it says of column plate inserts, we talked before. So we have to say, in this fact, purpose of this method statement is to define sequence of engineering activities that shall be implemented, prosecuted for permanent inclusions within RCC thick columns, in addition to reinforcing bars, fabricated metallic plates, inserts to support compressor table structure. This was its requirement, and I'm not going to responsibilities and all that, because you have already heard this. I was telling you, now I'll go to same inserts which will be required in tabletop as well, but now I'm going to discuss. That is quality requirements. Name is this quality requirement of this file, and this is chapter 11 of this file. That is, may say file of facilities. This is for facilities. You can say facilities means plant. Plant doesn't mean small plant. This means process plant, where there's some technology involved on production of something or reformation of one product to another product. That is this one. We may call it facility, you may call it plant, you may call it whatsoever, mega project. Generally, all such projects are mega because these cover a lot of space of area, or you can say in kilometers by kilometers, and generally where there is one original plant which we call refinery for fossil fuels, where you can say raw material is received and processed. That's called refinery, and there are so many byproducts from that process plant which are further required to be transformed to some other material or some other matter substance or chemical, and we also call them plants. Maybe it is sub-plant, but it's mega, it's enough quantity, so it's called facility also, to facilitate some material after use of byproduct of fossil fuels or raw material from received, pumped out from, you can say, sea bottom or much depth, and transported to your refinery. That's what it's called, facility. And my definition is not my scope, but just trying to explain. It's not small plant, you can say one machine or one car. It's not equipment, it's facility plant where hundreds of machines are combined together to work. Hundreds of machines and equipment and vessels and other infrastructure facilities, utilities, electrical buildings, administrative buildings, central control buildings, and other, you can say, for example, seawater basin, you may say, so many substations, so much internal road work, and so many supplies of water, including fire fighting water, and you can say outlet or drainage out of many wastes, sewer, rainwater, chemical water, or others. And all this combination, outfall chamber, or you may say log, you may say so much is there. Electrical infrastructure, civil infrastructure, mechanical infrastructure, blast buildings, non-blast buildings, ordinary buildings, and so much more. I am talking about that project. Here is crack gas compressor massive foundation, which is this method statements is only for concrete pour. There shall be another one which shall be for columns, which I just talked about, inserts, and this is another one for tabletop. In this instance, it is crack gas compressor. There shall be then, you can say, ethane gas compressor, and then there will be propane gas compressor, which I use personally as my experience. I did it, and whatever I remember based on my assignment, I'm just trying to share with you what we did, where we made mistakes, where we could remedy is here. Generally, it is system that we have to write some methods before doing some job. What we are going to do, that is agreed prior to commencing job on site. That statement is proposed by whosoever is going to do work to person, to a authority which you call engineer or owner's representative. They would approve that. These are certain standards here. If we don't have method statement agreed in advance, it's not practical to do that work, because every activity must be approved, every work should be approved, every proposal must be approved. If it is a time consuming issue, then you have to approve it on site, and official formal approval can be done later on through communications or through some other statements in meetings. So here index says you have to scope, you have to define a scope, then you have to refer to certain documents, then you have to define titles and their responsibilities, then what safety methods they are going to adopt and what other methods we are going to adopt and what are supportive documents. All these are covered within one written statement, which document is professional one once it is approved, and that whole book or whole papers after approval of engineer, you can say, become site property, contract property, or if engineer's property, both you can say, because approval authority is engineer and proposer is contractor, both are bound by this relation. We have to take this into point. Now I'm going to just talk on this concrete pour of this fight. Purpose of this method statement is to define sequence of engineering activities for concrete pouring that shall be implemented, prosecuted for permanent inclusions within RCC massive foundation block in addition to reinforcing bars, cathodic protection inserts, column starters, reinforcing bars to support compressor tabletop structures. A heavy vibratory equipment, you can say a heavy equipment is called cracking gas compressor tabletop shall be found on it through thick columns. This equipment is take its life from thick column in dynamic mode, transmitting working vibrations and amplitude to it, which forces this foundation would be required to dampen. This foundation shall be considered to be a massive block element, which means that during concrete pouring, temperature controls must apply, cracking prevention controls must apply, curing controls must apply, and saving for all. In this case, you can say what I said, this foundation shall be considered to be a massive block element, which means that during concrete pouring, temperature controls must apply, cracking prevention controls must apply, curing controls must apply, and overall pouring controls must apply. Here there are some references, you know that. Then there are certain duties and definitions. Then we go to something like, very common about safety, which we say that safety officer shall monitor all daily activities being conducted or carried out. So, safety officers shall monitor all daily activities being conducted or carried out on site, advising and implementing all safety procedures if some measures are observed missing. Now, prior to commencement of whatever activity, workforce shall receive a start card toolbox stock on project safety site requirements respecting involved item or activity. You may say, prior to commencement of whatever activity, workforce shall receive a start card toolbox stock on project safety site requirements respecting involved items activity. This is very important provision. A site engineer should know which machines will be required. We have to take that into consideration. Process involving a particular safety risk shall be calculated by job hazard assessment, JHA, and necessary measures adopted to address risk issue so that included measures comply to real requirement standards. Now we can say Only competent personnel shall be engaged to carry out specific operations. Personnel shall Only competent personnel shall be engaged to carry out specific operation. Personnel shall use all necessary safety related PPEs, which we call personal protective equipments, required for all pertinent activities. Ample availability of water should be available or made. You can say, I use two times availability, one should be made. So you can say ample availability of water should be made on site for workers as well as for other purposes, all other purposes. You can say ample quantity of water must be available. Safety officers shall ensure all those persons who work on shift activities should be fully aware of safety obligations and implementation expected of them. Emergency procedure for first aid shall be explained to everyone. Equipment tools that shall be required to operate on site must always be in full working order with provisions of appropriate lighting. Says emergency procedures for first Emergency procedure for first aid shall be explained to everybody. All equipment tools that shall be required to operate on site must always be in full working order with provisions of appropriate lighting and of well. Now, preparatory works we have to do for foundation here. That's also very important part. Though I discussed this, I'll rewind because it's a little complicated. So I'll refresh before going further. The following main activities shall be involved for this foundation. What foundation? You can see this foundation. This foundation I'm talking of here. This massive block this is, and here are safety requirements of everything. There's excavation onto 3 meter depth, all excavation safety required, blinding safety required, concrete protection safety required, massive block foundation safety procedure required, thick column safety required, thin column. Now in these columns below these foundations we are talking of, I'm talking of this foundation, is that this foundation. We are talking of this foundation which is massive block. So this is set out and required coordinates at all corners we used and marking all areas including external working offsets for purpose of foundations, excavations and circulation areas for ease of construction. Recording all existing reduced levels from site within areas to be covered for excavation, reconfirmation regarding all surveys activities to determine accuracy, since no changes in setting out should be permissible due to implementable in proposed. Recording all existing risk levels from site within areas to be covered for excavation. Reconfirmation regarding all survey activities to determine accuracy, since no changes on setting out should be permissible due to implementable proposed running utilities that and you can say setting out should be permissible due to implementable proposed running utilities and now we have this proposal already discussed. I'm just giving you reference only. Means we have to be careful. You can read it yourself. It's already available there. Recommend confirmation regarding all survey activities to determine accuracy, since no changes on setting should be permissible due to implementable proposed running utilities around foundations which may comprise role of we'll go to QC inspection after this. All means whatever we do says confirmation regarding all surveys, and then we have to say QC inspection, excavation, earthwork in depth more than 2 meters. We have to do then resorting to all precautions and barricading, etc. Excavation is simultaneous removal, transfer of excavated material to stockpiles area for further processing, and continuous monitoring stable, monitoring exitable, aditable, and sand. Then we can say continuous monitoring and all these levels and all that, and we have to if you see formation doesn't meet strength requirement, the formation that we reach doesn't meet our requirement of design, then we have to replace bad soil from there of maybe in 2 layers or 1 layers. Let me say, let us say 2 layers. It depends what you consider that. Then you have to take out that soil and prepare for soil improvement in form of adding better soil. Then that was imperative. Up to 98% of TD should be, and if you then we go to carrying out blinding concrete to approve procedures, followed by curing for minimum of 2-3 days. So blinding concrete preparation is a must. You have to compact area. Then you have to prepare for side shutters of blinding, which is very small, and do it, cure it for 2-3 days. Application of concrete production requires to be on this by specialist vendor, followed by application of protection screed. QC inspections to be conducted for release of foundation preparatory works or activities. Fabrication of steel rebars and deliveries to site's location, duly tagged for ease identification. Fabrication of foundation site forms based on proprietary designs of preformed. Fabrication of steel rebars and deliveries to site locations duly tagged for easy identification. Fabrication of foundation site forms works based on the proprietary design deliveries delivered by specialist vendor in line to SS. And there is a fabrication foundation site forms based on proprietary design delivered by the specialist vendor in line to satisfactory structural calculations respecting concrete hydraulic forces, placing steel bars for lower side in control in correct location in line according to structural design. Placing chairs suitable to requirements, fabricated out of heavy steel bars to support upper layer of rebars, placing steel bars for upper side in correct locations in line according to structural drawings and designs, placing all column rebars dowels for superstructural columns, pertinent tabletop erection, installation, fixing formworks to foundation sides in line according to setting out line marks, fixing cathodic protection on you may say fixing cathodic protection anodes to exact locations within foundations and welding them, fixing stainless steel C clamps and GI wire rope to main steel reinforcing bars around foundation at defined locations. Theoretical cathodic protection shall be provided for such a heavy foundation in line to design provisions. Electrical continuity tests shall be conducted for records and submissions. Then we can say continuous after electrical continuity testing is conducted. We have to keep continuous QC inspection around all activities that are ongoing. And all preparatory works when these are including temporary works are ready, means when all necessary preparatory works and temporary works are ready, QC inspections should be conducted for obtaining concrete pour approval. After that, in all preparatory works including temporary works are ready, QC inspection should be conducted for obtaining concrete pour approval. After concrete pour approval is obtained, following procedures shall be implemented for further concrete activities. I'll define this, and other two statements are like this, just quantities will be different. I'm going to define you about this. I don't know why I'm feeling so thirsty today. Well, it's hot, I think. Maybe 30 around, I don't know. Let me see. Maybe 29. Anyway, let me open my door. Take 2-3 minutes. Meanwhile, I'll jump onto this statement with force and also refer to more of this. So we can say here in this case pore size is given, and it's given in every case actually. It is about 600 cubic meter. It's not small, it's big one. This is pore size 600 cubic meter, and it shall vary from case to case. In this case 600 cubic meter, and we have pore plan which in steps courses of each 15 meters by 2, or you can say about 12 cubic meter, whatever it is. In each layer you can say there may be 50 layers of this, that's why it is 600 cubic meter. It could be different for each size, depends on that. This is just the procedure. So sequence of steps shown in it as discussed, we have seen already. Every time I show it, that plan how to pour, you have to make that plan yourself. I'll close something. Okay, we start. This was a pour plan on Excel, I think. Method statement, massive block, I think that's that much. So this is that pour plan. Yes, it is that plan. Just for your information, I just got it back. It is that pour plan. You have seen directions are shown. This is a plan, this is sections, and you can see all these 50, in this case 50 layers you have to pour, and sequence of this is shown in this matrix. This is section 400 mm each thickness, and you have to pour according to this sequence or sequence that you decide. I'm just guiding you. Means cold joints are required to be avoided, that's most important. Flash setting is also required to be avoided, that's also most important. In both cases you have to provide various thermometers like thermocouples or defrosting filing, and you have to see sequence of this and timings of this and labor requirement, workers requirement, and there should be pump located, where should be concrete truck located, in which instance. All this should be shown in this pour plan, which is a part of quality system, because you cannot do things, you cannot do work at random. You have to think some way or other, and that's very important part here. So we must understand all this before going further. So this method gives you your details of this plan. How many concrete pumps are required, batching plant, how many work. You may say if you need per hour, let us say whatever this it says transit mixer is 7 meter or 8 meter cube, and there are 10 numbers are required. So you have a plan of 12 hours, for example here 12 hours to 14 hours. Let's say 12 hours means 600 cubic meter, 50 cubic meter per hour. This is continuous delivery, 50 cubic meter per hour. Generally you can say, efficiently speaking, production of batching plant is 35 cubic meter per hour. So you may say 2 continuous mixers must work in batching plant to get this delivery of 50 cubic meter. That point must be considered, and those people, those plant operators, they know all this. You have to just tell them my requirement is per hour this much, and they will arrange delivery of mixers. For example, in 1 hour you get 50 cubic meter, keeping aside some margin, they will say 60 cubic meter in 1 hour. 60 cubic meter in 1 hour means, if suppose every 10 minutes they deliver you 8 cubic meter or 7 cubic meter, you will get 6 trucks in every hour. Or you have to reduce frequency, it may be 8 minutes per truck, like that. So your quantity per hour delivery is that. That's purpose of calculation, that's purpose of assessment of such plant. They may require 2 pumps, you may require 2 pumps as well. It depends on work quantity. 600 cubic meters is not very big quantity for 12 hours. To be very frank, it's not very big. So this is what purpose of this method serves. Purpose is served, this is what's this, and we have then equipment, how many vibrators are required, which type of vibrators are required, how many should work and how many should in standby mode, what sort of curing we have to do, thermal curing and then normal curing, thermal curing for 3 days and normal curing, then what we have to do immediate post pour, means what type of action we have to take. For example, we have to apply, we have cover surface after wood finish, polythene sheet, and then we have to take out polythene sheet after some time and put in Haitian bags, the saturated Haitian bags, and then cover with polythene sheet again, and we have to place on that, you may say, polystyrene board all over that surface, and then cover with sand bed, which must be kept wet all time, and all sides, shuttered side, pump side, must be maintained within certain temperature. This is the purpose of that. All curing should go on continuously for 3 or 4 days for thermal curing application and then normal curing application. A full-time tank should be there to provide water with, of course, length of hose requirement depending on site to tank distance. Generally 50 meters is enough. Then we have to describe manpower requirement, work person requirement, concrete crew requirement, how many foremen do you want, the leaders, or you can how many steel fixers you need there, and carpenters you need there, depending on what your assess is. So that is purpose of this statement. Masons, how many, because this is a big job, surface area, let's say 200 or 300 square meter. Immediate work you want, so you don't delay, you have to do it fast. And then fast means everywhere you have to let them sit down and work. In such a way, helpers also given according to masons. If 16 masons means 22, 6 or 5 more helpers with them, because helper's job is not too much in that case. Job of mason is more. Then we can say all specifications, requirements to be complied with, all activities to go on site. We say GGBS we have to use, high slake blast furnace cement we have to use according to BS 4206, 70% replacement and utilizing 30% ASTM C150 types of cement for use in massive concrete or whatever cement you are going to use, just a reference only. You have to decide yourself which one you have to use and how much replacement with GGBS, which is pro environmental material. It's called supplementary cementing material as well, which replaces cement quantity up to 70%, 80%. And you can say supplementary cementing materials environment pro, or you can say 70% is gone, that was cement, and now been replaced by GGBS, which also replaces your sulfate resistant cement requirement. So provision of such concrete based supplementary cementing materials such as GGBS, glass granulated or ground granulated, blast furnace slag cement replaces, replacement shall assist in delaying immediate initial setting of concrete and concrete temperatures 24 degrees Celsius and slump is 130 to 175 somewhere. So general pouring notes are, I think I have to put down this somewhere. Let me close something like that, and it's better to close like this. I close of this. So let's go and discuss something else in this. Now, generally you can say pouring notes. On-site pouring shall be controlled or prosecuted to defined indicative plan, which I have shown to you. Concrete pour plan, which is this one I have seen, concrete pour plan. These activities shall be fixed time wise for actual effect on site without causing any snag. Locations of concrete pump, transfer mixers, start points, follow-up points of pour intended directions, respecting concrete delivery and placement have been depicted on plan. Each step and its location vertically have been indicated to follow such that no cold joints are allowed. Once a 2-meter wide layer 400 mm thick is poured in direction of width, another layer shall be poured continuously as indicated on pour sequence chart of matrix. As indicated or decided on chart, number sequence of pouring layers shall be complied with so that no cold joints are formed. Vibrator shall be applied in such a way that nozzle penetrates about 75 to 100 mm into lower laid layer for interlocking purpose between two layers. You have to withdraw vibrator nozzle from previous layer gradually, don't give a shock. Pour concrete pouring, post concrete pouring temperature shall be monitored by inserting maxima and minima for thermal gradient control after concrete is set, which requires installations of thermocouples as well. During concreting, temperature shall be measured so that it doesn't exceed 24 degrees Celsius. It shall certainly be added to concrete mix. Ice shall certainly be added to concrete mix at batching plant during hot weather condition. Pouring should be conducted from both ends of foundation for precautionary measures. Preformed stop ends mean shutters. Preformed stop ends should be available to meet certain emergency requirements when certain equipment or plant is broken down. No break shall be allowed. No break shall be allowed to pouring until it is completed. No break shall be allowed to pouring until it is completed, while crew shall be rotated. So let's say what shall be sprayed on rebars, you can say on forms to prevent flash setting prior to pouring commences with. And also no break shall be allowed to pouring until it is completed, while crew shall be rotated to allow tired crew response and liquid consumption. It shall be ensured that cathodic protection equipment, anode, stainless steel C clamps and GI wire rope do not get damaged during pouring. Then we can say it shall be ensured that cathodic protection equipment and all SSE clamps and GI wire rope do not get damaged during pouring. It's very important. It should remain intact and safe. Immediately after top layer is laid and finishing carried out, curing compound shall be sprayed over entire concrete surface, following covering with polythene sheet. After whole pouring is over, surface shall be wooden finished, protected by polythene sheet, placed over with polystyrene boards, further covered with 150 mm sand and sand. Then we say after whole pouring is over, surface shall be both unfinished, protected by polythene sheet placed over with polystyrene boards, further covered with 150 sand layer over entire area of concrete. Now external sides of exercise shall be kept cold to maintain required temperature. So it's further said after the whole pouring is over, surface shall be smooth and finished, protected by polythene sheet placed over with polystyrene boards, further covered with 150 sand layer over entire area of concrete. External sides shall be kept cold to maintain required temperature. Water shall be continuously poured. Water shall be continuously poured over sand to keep top system cold, not allowing any transmission of heat either from surroundings or from en bloc. So water shall be continuously poured over sand to keep top system cold, not allowing any transmission of heat and water shall be continuously poured over sand to keep top system cold, not allowing any transmission of heat either from surrounding or from massive block to environment. Observations regarding rising and falling thermometers, thermocouples shall be conducted to procedures. So either from surrounding of a massive block to environment. Observations regarding rising and falling thermometer, thermocouple shall be conducted to procedures for monitoring thermal gradient with concrete. Whole area shall be barricaded with no further work allowed until first 3 days heat curing, thermal curing is completed, to be followed by routine curing for defined number of say 14 days. When formwork is removed from sites on 4th day, close inspection shall be conducted. So on when 4th day is removed from sites, 4th day close inspection shall be conducted, ensuring whether or not certain defects are noticed, and if defects are observed, so we can say when formwork is removed from sites on 4th day, close inspection shall be conducted, ensuring whether or not certain defects are noticed, and if you can then surface shall be sprinkled with water followed by application of curing compound. If there is a defect and if defects are observed, remedial measures shall be agreed between contractor and engineers for complete revision. So routine water shall be applied on horizontal surface continuously and preferably also to solid water. So we can now go further and say that routine water shall be applied on horizontal surfaces continuously and preferably also to be applied to vertical surfaces. Further activities pertaining thick columns may be commenced within them. So attachments are sketch, pour plan, sectional sequence, details of pour, Now we are going to ethane compressor, concrete pour. Purpose of this method statement is define sequence of engineering activities for concrete pouring that shall be implemented for posted prosecuted for permanent inclusions within RCC massive foundation block in addition to reinforcing bars. Cathodic protection inserts, column, starters, reinforcement. So we will start this now. Scope is same as it was in crack gas compressors. There's no difference in scope, and you can see specification and definitions all are same, word by word, everything is same. We talk of method here, that's same. Others are same. Method, we talk of method here, that's different. Every case is different, we have to keep that in mind because quantity is different, size is different. In this case, we have size which is 280 cubic meter approximately, maybe more, maybe less. Don't go to that one. Pour plan we have same, just like we had before, but I did not make plan separately for this. System is same, procedure is same, length and width of plumb foundations you have to see. You have to see quantity, how many. There of course are 5 layers, let us say 200. In each layer is how much it is coming, you have to find out. You have to fix this way, means it should move like this, all these layers. You can change sequence, you can do whatever you want, and you can select location of pumps and trucks, and you can decide whatever else. In this case, system is same, principle is same. So what method says that each you can say each layer or each strip course is 9 cubic meter approximately, okay, and for our time required is 7.5 to 8 hours. In morning you want to start that time. Then you can say, of course, plant you need, matching plant, one working, one standby, transit mixer you need, how many cubic meter each, how many numbers. Then 7 minutes interval are given to frequency of arrival of delivery mixers, and pour duration you are saying 5 to 6 hours. You can see it's not like before 12 hours, it's nearly half of that, but principle is same. Vibrator you require, standby and otherwise, and you need curing material same as before, thermal curing and other curing, normal curing. So you can say same, nothing changed, nothing, same type of curing material. Immediate post pour by curing compound covered by polythene sheet, and post pour set concrete by removing polythene sheet, add saturated hessian and recover that with polythene. Now this is what curing plan is. Means first you have to do thermal curing and then you have to follow up with routine curing. Here strength, you see, water supply of course is same, you have to provide tank, and you have to differentiate on workforce. You can change, you can keep same, it's up to you, because time is also same, about half. So this means strength should be same. Now all specifications requirements to be complied with, activities to go on site, same blast furnace slag and B S24246, 70% replacement of cement by slag, provisions of such concrete based on supplementary cementing materials. So trap parameters are same, temperature is same, everything is same, there's no change, so we will not discuss that one. Same way general pouring mode notes means word by word is same. Again you can see for refreshing on-site pouring shall be controlled, prosecuted to define the indicative plan, details of which are included on attachment concrete pour plan, and that is this much. Again I'm telling you this much. You can find sequence by sequence. You can design another tables as this. Designing is not a problem. In this case now I go back and see on-site pouring shall be controlled, prosecuted to a defined indicative plan, details of which are included on attachment concrete pour plan. All activities shall be fixed time-wise for actual effect on site. All activities shall be fixed time-wise for actual effect on site without causing any snag. Locations of concrete pumps, transit mixers, start point, follow-up points or pour, intended directions respecting concrete delivery and placement have been depicted on plan. Each step and its location vertically have been indicated to follow such that no cold joints are allowed. Each step and its location vertically have been indicated to follow such that you can say no cold joints are allowed. That's more potent. And once a 2-meter wide layer 4 mm thick is poured in direction of width, another layer be poured continuously as indicated on pour plan. As indicated on the side chart, number sequence of pouring layers shall be complied with so that no cold joints are formed. Vibrator shall be applied in such a way that nozzle penetrates about 75 mm to 100 mm into lower layer for interlocking between two layers. So we can say post-concrete as indicated beside in chart number sequence, we can say that of course post-concrete pouring temperature shall be monitored by inserting maxima and minima for thermal gradient controls after concrete is set, and of course we'll keep ingredient and executing. So we can say vibration applied in such a way that nozzle penetrates about 75 to 100 into lower layer for interlocking purpose. Post-concrete pouring temperature shall be monitored by inserting maxima and minima or thermal gradient or thermocouples after concrete is set. During concreting, temperature shall be measured so that it doesn't exceed 24 degrees Celsius. And we can say here, during concreting, temperature shall not exceed 24 degrees Celsius, requirement of this section, massive block. In case it doesn't work, you have to add ice, certainly, to concrete mix at batching plant during hot weather condition. Pouring should be conducted from both ends of foundation for precautionary measures reformed. Now, pouring should be conducted from both ends of foundation for precautionary measures. Preform stop ends. It's very important item to be stop ends. You may have so many stop ends. Should be this is 400 depth you are pouring, so you should have accordingly. Maybe 500 stop ends should be there for emergency use. So you can say stop ends prefabricated. You can just put in there on concrete when you have to stop, so that of course it may not be 100% stable, but then stability is more important in the fibers. We can say pouring should be conducted from both ends of foundation, and the stop ends must be available to meet any emergency, to meet whatever emergency in breakdown. No break shall be allowed to pouring until it is completed, while crew shall be rotated to allow tired crew rest pause and liquids consumption. Water shall be sprayed on rebars and on forms to prevent flash setting prior to pouring commences with. It shall be ensured that cathodic protection equipment, anode, C clamps, stainless steel C clamps and GI wire rope do not get damaged during pouring. Immediately after pour, after top layer is laid and finishing carried out, curing compound shall be sprayed over entire concrete surfaces, shall be following covering our wooden front. We can now say immediately after top layer is laid, finishing carried out, curing compound shall be sprayed over entire concrete surface, following covering with polythene sheet. After whole pouring is over, surface shall be wooden finished, protected by polythene sheet, placed over with polystyrene blocks, boards, further covered with 150 mm sand bagged sand layer over entire area of concrete. External side shall be kept cold to maintain required temperature. Water shall be continuously poured over sand to top keep top system cold, not allowing transmission of heat. Any transmission of heat Now, you can say external side shall be kept cold to maintain required temperature. Water shall be continuously poured over sand to keep top system cold, not allowing any transmission of heat either from surrounding or from a massive rock or environment. Observations regarding rising or falling temperature thermometers thermocouples shall be conducted to procedure for monitoring thermal gradient within concrete. Whole area shall be barricaded with no further work allowed until 3 days for heat curing. Thermal curing is completed and all in modes. All means with modes can say whole area shall be barricaded. No further work allowed until the first 3 days of heat curing. Thermal curing is completed, followed by protein curing for defined number of days, 14 days. When formwork is removed from sites, the fourth day close inspection shall be conducted, ensuring whether or not certain defects are noticed. And if defects are observed, remedial measures shall be agreed between contractor and engineer. Application immediately. Surface shall be sprinkled with water, followed by application of curing compound. Routine water shall be applied on horizontal surfaces continuously and preferable also to be complied on horizontal surfaces. So we can say routine water shall be applied on the surface continuously and preferably also to be applied on vertical surfaces. Further activities pertinent or engaged. You can say further activities pertinent. Thick columns may be commenced with then. Sketch we have to attach, plan of pour we have to attach, sectional sequence details we have to attach. Same way it is pouring off. It's a massive block of propane. It's the same as we did before except method. So method will directly go to so that you don't repeat whatever you repeated. This is method, 150 cubic meter like that. Just like that again. Method you can see is difference in quantity only. Pour plan you have to prepare for this particularly for all these three methods. You have different planning. Method you have to devise. Number of laborers, workers you have to decide. Time of pour you have to decide. Equipment you have to use, for example, batching plant 1 or 2 transmitters, how many, delivery continuous, pour preparation, how many hours, equipment or what. Then curing same, there's no difference in curing. Workmen, how many units you have to define, not necessary, it can be different. Or if you want to keep same hours but same numbers, it's not going to work. Now we have attempted to find workforce here and we have seen that all specimens are same. There's no difference in those specimens. What by what is the same temperature 24 degrees, same BS code, 70% replacement. What should be temperature, what should be slump, all the same. General pouring notes also same. There's no difference at all in this, as we said before. There's no difference at all. Attachments are same. Now tabletop we have here. Tabletop. It is, as I said, what is tabletop? Here is tabletop, This is tabletop here. The many inserts here you can see. This is plan of tabletop, compressor area, and this column inserts, and some of them somewhere here also will be inserts. In this you have to place your various requirements. Maybe many inserts are there. Don't submit. Got this point? This is tabletop, this portion, you have to pour this one 2 meter depth. Now in this statement we are saying is purpose of this method statement is to define sequence and method equals methodology that shall be implemented for concrete pour, thin and crack gas compressor foundation tabletop which RCC frame beam structure is a considerable size massive block. Got it? Means sequence and method are events that to be implemented for concrete building. So we can say again, purpose of this talk is a heavy equipment compressor foundation. A heavy equipment compressor foundation on it in dynamic mode, transmitting working platforms and so we can say since this element is RCC beams, a massive block with inserts block out complexities and in-depth study pertinent is a successful planned proposed professional port is required. This foundation to be considered a massive element, which means on this foundation. Now you can say, since this element is RCC beam, massive block with inserts, blockouts, complexities, and in-depth study pertinent to successful and planned professional port is required. Foundation shall be considered to be a massive element. All the elements. This foundation shall be considered to be a massive element, which means that during concrete pouring, temperature control applies, cracking prevention the controls apply, curing control apply, and overall pouring controls apply. Specifications, we know what these are: form of concrete reinforcing bars during drawings and reference not integral. So same, definitions, all same except safety. Safety is same. We can move forward same way. Quality checks we have seen. Materials we can see different one in this case, and this is regarding propane. You can see volume of steel plates is indicated. Volume of steel plates is this, and available volume of this, which can be adjusted in calculations, and no different type of. Then you can see what do we need, what we don't need. We have to scrutinize that. Now, in this very important point that we have to discuss is, let us repeat this. This is also a very important point here. I have added something here. If you see office engineer, you have added here. Let us see what's the reason behind that, of this addition. It's not that difficult to understand. PD, PSM, we say, shall control overall operations in all respects, including cost and budget, pertinent site organizations, management organization controls. CM shall, through PD or project director, PSM and procurement, arrange resources required accordingly and act overall responsible for prosecution and implementation of ongoing operations activities whatsoever. Office engineer, which I've added here, is actually is very important position. Office engineer shall coordinate all engineering designs and site engineering activities wherever demands of whatever clashes or conflict is received from site. Though superintendents and engineers will do that, but at random, if they get something it's not solution, it is office engineer, it will brought to reference of office engineer, who shall go into details of all these technicalities and what problems do exist and try to make a query. If it's not able to solve itself, and that query shall go to competent person of contractor or contractor or engineer, and they either give proposal that the proposal is like this, we have a proposal for the solution and we approve this proposal, or otherwise they give their own solutions. Both are right ways. We can propose, office engineers can propose, and of course proposal in connivance with, in agreement with the engineers on site, not office engineers, not directly acting, but with proposal fabricating support, you can say proposal support, and here becomes, and whatever site guys want to do, intend to do, that's reflected in that proposal with sketches. And it is specific, means if you don't have time, site engineers have no time, or don't have caliber, or superintendents have no time, or construction managers have no time, there should be some technical command with them. And so whole site, not for one or two, but for whole, this technical command has to work, document, decide, think, means a kind of professional work has to do. Then further would go on, that was purpose of adding here. Then we can say all are same. Safety we'll discuss because it's also very relevant in this case. Safety. A case a little different here. Safety officer shall monitor all daily activities, advising site engineers. Safety is very important actually for such concrete, because it's located at height, maybe you can say around 15 meters from ground, practically 15 meters from ground. It's not simple. 8 meters is height of column itself, 9 meters, and 2 meters or 3 meters height, 2 meters height of this foundation. So 9 and 2, 11, and then maybe 1 meter above ground. So 13 meters it is, you can say 13 meters, and then of course people stand on those. So eyes of people maybe 14 meters, 13 meters, like that. So it's quite high, you can say work of 3-story building or 4-story building height. This is, so it's elevated work, it's not work on ground. Safety officials and monitor all daily activities, advising site engineers if some measures miss and notify for implementing all required missing safety measures. If site team provides necessary resources to safety section for full-time safety uptake, safety officer shall fulfill all pending measures. Prior to commencement of whatever activity, workforce shall receive a start card or toolbox stock on project safety site requirement respecting involved items. Activity process involving a particular safety risk shall be calculated by job hazard assessment, JHA, and necessary measures adopted to address whatever risk involving issue so that included measures comply to real requirement standard. Only competent personnel shall be engaged to carry out operation. Personnel shall use protective clothing, gloves, eye protection, masks, gumshoes, full body harness, etc. In addition to general safety measures to use personal safety equipment, all personnel to work on electric breaker, grinder, drill and proprietary products application should wear gloves, masks, safety glasses, etc. All personnel to work on forms and reinforcing bars shall use all safety measures required as description included on various other method statements, which must include hand gloves, eyeglasses, etc. in addition to general PPEs. Since heavy RCC activities are involved on tabletop preparatory works and pouring concrete up to a height around 2 meters, located at 10 meters from ground or 12 meters from ground, all measures should be resorted to regarding safe scaffolding, stepped access with both side handrails, all necessary adequately strong working platforms, all procedures necessary on formworks, all procedures required for reinforcement, fabrication and placement as well as on top, carrying out concrete pouring activity to proven technology. It's difficult statement, better understand. I repeat, it's not direct but difficult one. Since heavy RCC activities are involved on tabletop preparatory works and pouring concrete up to height around 2 meters, located at 10 meters ground, all measures should be resorted to regarding safe scaffolding, stepped access with both side handrails, all necessary adequately strong working platform, all procedures necessary on formworks, all procedures required for reinforcement, fabrication and placement. When say a stepped access and with both side handrails, all necessary adequately strong working platforms, all procedures necessary on formworks, all procedures required for reinforcement, fabrication and placement, as well as on top, carrying out concrete pouring activity to proven technology. Plenty of clean water for spraying on forms and hot reinforcement bars, hot reinforcement bars shall be made available as so as to avoid formation of cold joints. Ample Now, ample means of water should be available on site for workers as well as for all other purposes. Drinking water should be available on site for workforce and tea breaks be allowed. Emergency procedure for first aid shall be explained to everybody. All equipment, tools that operate on site shall always be available in full working order with appropriate provisions of lighting for illumination wherever required. It says all equipment, tools that operate on site shall always be available in full working order with appropriate provisions of lighting for illumination wherever required. Proper scaffolding according to project requirements shall be erected around area to be poured, along with providing complete accessible system such as stepped stairs and working platforms with top and bottom guardrails, working being at height. So we can say here one more point which I said that drinking water should be available on site for tea breaks and emergency procedures, explain all equipment, tools, all the light and all that. Proper scaffolding according to project requirements shall be erected around area to be poured, along with providing complete accessible system such as steps, stairs and working platforms with top and bottom guardrails. Working being at height which requires adequate and sufficient arrangements for adequately strong scaffolding duly approved and tagged by safety officer. Working platforms provided scaffolding should be provided perfectly without any misses but be capable to allow safe working, for which calculations could be done to prove platform and accessibility stability. What's that? Working platform provided on scaffolding should be provided perfectly without any misses but be capable to allow safe working, for which calculations required for safety in line or conference. So, but be capable to allow safe working, for which calculations could be done to prove platform and accessibility stability. During concrete pump and other heavy vehicles operations, all measures required for safety in line or in conformance to regulatory authorities' requirements. Good. industrial practices should be applied promptly. Independent personnel such as professional guards or banksmen should take responsibility of such heavy equipment's proper circulation without meeting any accident. Areas shall be cleared and leveled on ground, allowing free access to concrete pumps, transit mixers, water tank, etc., and provisions of night lights for illumination should be made for curing. Immediate medical attention shall be imparted to whosoever personnel intendant as and when so required. Intermittently rest pauses should be allowed for workers consuming certain liquids in hot weather conditions. Then you can say what I say, a competent inspector shall visit area daily and full time during pouring concrete to assess whether whatever safety measures are adopted. All snags observed during his visit as well as during pour shall be notified to supervisor present, who immediately must act to bring safety measures to an acceptable standard. So again, material it says in this case it is gross volume of pour 173 cubic meter, volume of steel plate that's about 1.08 cubic meter. We did this as this inserts with the column. We are doing same in this tabletop in horizontal position, horizontal shutters and vertical as well. Applicable volume of pour is 170 cubic meter approximately. Details are attached, not in this case but attached on real submission according to specification. Pour pertains to definition of massive structure and the highest leg blast furnace cement C30 with 70% replacement, and cement that is BS4246 is used with 70% replacement. 30% ASTM 150 type 2 cement shall be utilized for batching in accordance with the specified design mix with placing temperature not more than 34 degrees Celsius. Curing materials such as curing compound, polythene sheets, polystyrene wrap, patience, sand and water shall be available according to requirements. Plants and equipment. Batching plant requirement is 1 direct from standby, concrete pump 1, transit mixer 6, vibrator 2, and water tank like that. And workforce, masons, carpenters, they'll fix all that. And method is here. There's one thing to say, it was a question of design review. Well, I think let me see time balance, how much. It's already 3 hours 15 minutes. Well, 2-3 minutes ago more and see. In this case, we'll say design review. Well, I think we should take next time better. Okay, let us see. Next time better means better finish. I'll take next time better because I can't run fast for this and see. I face 6 or 7 now. I have no time now. Thank you very much, gentlemen.